to an hour.
Oh, that's all right.
All right, let's try to get going with the June 30th meeting of IPython Jupyter. Trying to get with a new format, which is more reporting from everyone. Trying to keep it up to 5 minutes, as we discussed on the mailing list, instead of trying to get into deep technical discussions, just reporting. Whoever sort of steps up, trying to summarize what are they working on, what are they planning to work on, and what specifically is bottlenecking them on making progress on the problem they're trying to solve, so that we try to help them make decisions and allocate resources to help them make progress. We'll try to keep the maximum limit of the meeting to 1 hour, which probably means we can go through about 10 to 12 people max total. And after the meeting, we will convene. Basically, groups can get together either on Gitter, on the mailing list, or on additional meetings to actually work together on problems, probably groups of 2 to 4 people if they need to actually get work done. I will try to take notes today and make a summary, but I would encourage, I'll be coordinating notes, but I would encourage people to actually do what we typically do, which is that we do take notes together as we do in the past. And I think we didn't do that today, but in the future, I would encourage us all to basically prepare the agenda in advance like we used to do it on the Hacker, basically, where you sort of prepare this little report sort of with 3 or 4 lines in advance, so that if you're going to speak up, you basically write a 3-line summary in advance. This is what I've been doing. You write 2 or 3 lines before, and that way these notes are, in a sense, pre-written, and that way these little summaries are written. It'll only take 2 minutes, and then that way the job during the meeting is very easy. But I will do my best to take notes today. I would appreciate if anybody else can help out, and then we'll post these minutes after the fact. All right, we have some new faces. I would like Craig to. Craig is not a new face to me, but you're a new face to the others. So Craig, why don't you introduce yourself to the new faces? Well, to those who don't know you in the group.
Yeah, hi. Sorry. I'm Craig. I'm an employee at Google now, and I just joined the Colab team, which is the same team that Kester is on. And I know Fernando and Brian and Jason and a bunch of other people. For a long time, I was really involved with Sage Math and IPython a bit at the time, back in 2005, 6, 7, somewhere around there. And then I was actually the Sage postdoc for a bit, and then went to Google and have been doing various stuff, and am now meeting back in the middle. So yeah, I'm mostly lurking today just because, I said, hey, Kester, do you go to those IPython meetings? He's like, oh yeah, you should come to one. So here I am.
Yeah, so I just met Craig. I don't do a lot on the internal Colab stuff, but Craig's just joined the internal Colab team, and I think, unlike me, Craig is very familiar with a lot of IPython, so his perspective is much broader than mine. I'm mainly here for the real-time integration and the Google API stuff, but I think Craig's got much broader interest in the whole project and all aspects of the interaction between IPython and Colab.
No, as Craig said, I think we met probably 10 years ago, so it's long time hand in these projects. So it's great to have you on board, Craig.
Thanks for having me.
All right, who wants to go first?
I'll start. So I was teaching in Southampton last week, so I was working on preparing teaching materials and stuff like that. As far as actually working on IPython Jupyter, and looking at getting Jupyter Core ready to ship, which I think is just about there, or if not all the way there. And in the last couple of days, I've been working on taking some of the IPython dependencies out of the Qt console. So the Qt console was using the IPython input splitter code, which is Python and IPython specific, and I've been taking that out to use the isComplete message protocol. And frankly, nobody's blocking me right now, so I've I've got some work to get back to, and I can do that as soon as the meeting's over. That's me.
Thanks, man.
Brad, you want to add something?
Oh, no, I just said thanks, man. Go ahead.
I was in France for the last 2 weeks. I worked on SciPy tutorial and a bunch of other small stuff. This week I need to catch up with Kester and Jason on Phosphor.
Good morning.
Preparing.
What? Oh, sorry. Hi, John. John was.
We've got a subheading for this meeting. Next under the date.
I'm sorry?
We have a subheading just below where you're working for today's meeting.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and I need to catch up with Kester for the talk we're giving at SciPy. So we'll have that to do for this week and nothing really open.
Yeah, we could schedule a time for that. I think it might also be, I wanted to mention at some point, I would like to set up a weekly or bi-weekly meeting with Yumi, Craig, and whoever else is interested, so that we can all think up on how the real-time stuff's going and make sure we're all up to date.
Thomas?
I've been focusing on teaching materials, reviewing the stuff for SciPy, and getting 4.0 kind of still pushing towards release. So I don't think there's anything blocking me. There's a couple of things I wanted to kind of bring up, just get a quick sounding on. One of them is, so Jupyter Core, we merged some changes yesterday, and if all goes well, I would like to try and push it out tomorrow, and then move on to Jupyter Client and then be format to it, and let's do things in the sequence. So yeah, if anybody knows that should hold up Jupyter, please let us know. Also, there's a thing about version numbering. Once we've released 4.0, we think that we will make the slower moving packages, things like Jupyter Core and MD format and things, we'll put the version number to X.1, 4.1, and the faster moving things like Notebook will probably go to 5.0 immediately, on the grounds that we're likely to merge something quickly into those that will break stuff.
Anything blocking you actively?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I have been also frantically working for a few days on the teaching materials that also Thomas and Min helped me with. The teaching was intended to be me, but I had a visa problem and Min had to travel. We scrambled and Min had to travel on short notice. I was supposed to return from my travel on Sunday, and my passport with my visa was shipped last night. So obviously, as you can imagine, I couldn't fly, but Min was the one who flew instead and did the teaching for me. But I also have been working on the communications. As you've seen, we had a bunch of long emails, and so I've been basically trying to get back a little bit more actively on getting the communications and decision flow of the project active on the mailing list, and that has taken some time. And then there's been some kind of background work on some communications that will come up hopefully in the next few days will surface. And some of that is stuff that should are things that no one can help us with. We are being blocked. I am actually being blocked by other people, but no one here can help us, unfortunately.
About communication, I added on the hackpad a few links of a recent study on how people use GitHub pull requests and what is usually blocking in projects. and
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
I read that in the plane. It was interesting, and I was tired, so I cannot really do a recap right now. But it's something I think is interesting to see that. Like, for example, one of the most problematic thing is people responsiveness. When someone do PR and they did a machine learning algorithm that will, for example, getting from some criteria on PR, decide whether or not try to guess whether the pull request would be merged or not, and give some more quantitative results of like if a pull request has been open for more than 2 weeks, it has a lot of chances not to be merged, or if there is more than that many lines, it has a lot of chances of not being merged. It's, I think, interesting to get some quantitative results of what are the things that can block for communication and for the workflow with people.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
That's Berkeley covered?
Yeah, that covers this side. Next.
I can go. Can you hear me? So I have been spending quite a bit of time over the last few days on just the mailing list traffic. But other than that, my main tasks pertain to hiring, paperwork. We are going to hire Will Whitney, who's here today with us for the summer. And Will is going to be working on our tab completion, auto completion machinery. So I've been, he sent me a statement of work for that, and I'm working with Cal Poly to set up the contract for that. Also working on the ongoing hiring that's going on at Cal Poly, and then working with the students at Cal Poly. And my plan this coming week is to be working on trying to organize the effort that's going to happen at SciPy pertaining to the refactoring and ongoing work on the front end with TypeScript and Phosphor. We're going to have a meeting at SciPy on Thursday night, and I'm sure plenty of other discussions. And so I'm spending time getting ready for that. And we ordered stickers, and I don't know if people can see this, but we have Jupyter stickers. They came incredibly fast.
Flip them. Yes.
There we go.
Nice. Very nice.
They look really good. So I'll bring those both to the Bay Area and leave some there, but also SciPy. So we will have lots of stickers. The T-shirts have been ordered, and Cameron did another pass of reviewing the proofs for the T-shirts over the weekend, and those are looking good. And I don't think, other than having a sinus infection, there's not anything that's blocking me right now. So.
Are the die-cut stickers have been ordered as well, right?
I should confirm with Leah. She said she was going to do that, but I need to send her a confirmation email.
Great.
That's all.
Thank you.
Who's next?
I can go.
Oh, Nick. Yeah.
Hi, guys. Yeah, sorry it's been a while. Been out with stuff. And actually took the weekend off, so got less done than I wanted. But I've been working on just reacting to the demands of it seems like a higher uptick on issues on NBViewer. We've had some helpful contributions on some of the security angles, which is always a fun story because we are remote execution and cross-site scripting as job one. But I think we're going to try and start doing some more automated exploit testing, and we'd like to become something that is a reusable asset that we can use, not just for NBViewer, but then also for TempNB and presumably Jupyter Hub, anything else that you might be standing up in a non-completely trusted firewalled environment. So, mostly the APIs, but the REST APIs, those are the things that we're really going to be focusing on because they're so much more discoverable, I guess. Then in other stuff related to the various project things, I've been working over with Cyril on IPyMD, which is a pretty cool piece. Obviously,
I'm sorry, Nick, can you repeat? You've been working with what?
Cyril Rossant.
Got it.
I'm no doubt mispronouncing his name.
No, that's fine. I got it. I'm trying to take notes.
Okay. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, IPyMD or IPy Markdown is a alternate contents manager that stores out IPyNBs as Markdown. We're adding metadata to that right now. Is the big challenge. And once we have that, then we can do different kernels and do slideshows and stuff like that. That's probably
metadata is like a YAML front matter.
It's YAML everything matter, right? So we've got a YAML front matter for notebook metadata, and then we're reusing that same concept of some HRs with some YAML inside of them for cells. An interesting thing that we're building on top of that that's influenced by Chacon's and now Puppet Labs show off is some little short tags for saying, hey, this is a slide, or this is an IPython notebook, or whatever. And those use the YAML custom tag namespace. So it won't be a very portable format because you will need the parser in order to actually be able to parse it. But it will be a very versionable and human-centric format. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's great.
Yeah, so it could be interesting. And then I am getting a few users over on Nosebook, which is the Nose plugin for using notebooks as basically gold master tests. So still running into stuff. The guy that's actually wanting to use it right now has a crazy old version that has pre-4, and so it's having to deal with all the different notebook formats, which is kind of a lot. And then in my workplace, I'm doing some stuff with using the notebook as a semantic annotation, storytelling, concept modeling platform, as well as a front end for different kinds of instrumentation like spectrum analyzers and things like that. So I learned a lot about message comm specs. That's definitely something important to learn, and getting that working with multiprocessing. But there's nothing really holding me back. It's just too much on my plate right now with everything else.
Exciting. Thanks, Nick.
I can go next. Can you guys hear me? Oh, I can hear myself.
Yep. Yes.
From somewhere.
Yes.
So let's see. Last week and the beginning of this week and a little bit of the weekend, I've been working on both widget docs and widget tutorial content for SciPy and Jupyter Hub installation tutorial content for SciPy. I've also been working with Cameron a little bit, our designer at Cal Poly, to figure out a unified design scheme for our diagrams, because right now if you look at our diagrams, everybody has their own style. So we're just trying to clarify that and have one set of colors and shapes and a unified language that we can use to describe technical things related to the project. Additionally, I've been looking at ways of automating that. So there's a nice website that Kyle shared with me called draw.io, and it's just a real simple, easy to use diagramming website, like a UML type of thing. And I've been looking at ways to just style sheet those images so they can be rapidly produced without having to bog down Cameron with making each one by hand. but yeah, that's what I've been up to. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at SciPy. That's it.
I'll go. Everybody can hear me? Okay, cool. Yeah, so this last week I went to CodeConf, which was GitHub's little conference in Nashville. And most of it was around like Atom and Electron, but it was a lot of like forward thinking about open source projects and building open companies. And what the starter keynote was given by Travis CI. Then they talked about other things like HTML. They talked about web components, and there were like Chrome developers there. And then there was a whole bunch about Atom and Electron. And one of the big reasons that I went was so that I could like face-to-face with a few of the Atom devs. And so I talked to the main person that's behind kind of like making the text editing much faster. And I wanted to talk to him about inline styles. And so this is for the sake of Hydrogen being able to do like the output area in between the editor lines themselves. So you like work through the editor and then output. They were amenable to that. And so now they're going to start working on inline styles. And then I also talked to them about bundling 0MQ into Electron itself. And because it's only 8 kilobytes, they're actually willing to do it, which means that people could build full desktop apps. Do all the Jupyter stuff.
Would that solve the problem of the updates on Hydrogen borking on the whatever Guppy or G? There's a weird error message when you try to update Hydrogen about something. I can't remember the name of the command. There's a weird JIP. That's it, JIP.
Yeah.
There's a JIP thing that blows up inside because it's incompatible with Python 3 and it spews up its bowels. Would that help?
Yeah. The headers for Atom Shell. It's a pretty bad situation. It's just why I never started on that within Atom, because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. So the reason that happens is actually that ZMQ in Node depends on Node JIP, which is only Python 2. And so having ZMQ bundled into Atom just completely removes that dependency entirely and solves that.
And then if you update Atom and it restarts, it won't remember your path on restart, even if you open Atom on the command line. So other things to yak shave. And then as a side project, I've been building out like this Electron app called Sidecar. And that's been going pretty well. And that's been more or less an experiment with web components and like Electron itself. So kind of neat. You run Jupyter console and you instantly get HTML output.
I got a question there. When you say the word hydrogen, what is it that you're referring to? It's kind of an overloaded term, so I'm not entirely sure what project you're talking about.
So I'll let Will talk there. That's his project.
Yeah, so I guess that's probably a good segue to me. So Hydrogen is a project that runs code inside Atom by basically using the kernel API. And so, yeah, so I'm actually just getting spun up on like Jupyter stuff itself, but Hydrogen just crossed 3,000 installs, which is pretty awesome for what started as a really brief side project. And so now I'm looking at the completions messaging spec and sort of like woodshedding a demo version of this to try to add in like type annotations and things like that to the completions API so that we can give richer information like as you type. So that's what I'm working on.
Just one thing about completion API and everything. I opened a meta issue on Jupyter Clients where we could accumulate all proposed change to the message spec API. So that when we release, like, I don't know, 6.0, we can just look at all the changes that people have proposed. So if ever someone sees someone else and say, hey, it would be nice to add that to the API, please go to Jupyter Clients and add that in the meta issue.
Sorry, I could only like half hear that. It's very difficult to hear that riff.
So Matthias opened an issue that's about like what the coming message spec changes are. It was just kind of like outlining which to add on. So I think it was a request to add some of the auto completion to that overall thread.
Cool.
I don't know what issue number that is, but yeah.
I can find it.
What repo?
Jupyter
In the notebook?
which is where the protocol implementation is.
Okay.
I guess I can go next. So I think this is the actual first meeting where I'm contributing. So nice to see all your faces there, and we'll see you next week at SciPy. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris. I work for Continuum Analytics. I'm also the author of the Phosphor project, which we are working hard to kind of like use as the bedrock for the front end stuff of the notebook going forward. I'll let Stephen talk about that some more. He's kind of leading the charge in that aspect. I spend a lot of my time improving Phosphor, adding new things to Phosphor. What I'm working on right now is a lot of low-level code to support virtually scrolling list controls and grid controls, starting with the list control, which will serve for obviously vertically scrolling rows of things, but also trees as well. And by virtual, I mean it only renders what's actually in the visible portion of the view buffer. So that's actually going well. We've got some first prototypes up and running. There's a really hacky example on the feature list view branch if anybody wants to play with it. But it scales to around 8.5 quadrillion rows, which I think should be enough. And those are all. What's that?
So there are notebooks that big, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And that does support variable sized rows as well. So it's not limited to having all of your rows a fixed size. It scrolls freely easily. So that's kind of what I've got going on right now. And I guess we'll segue over to Steve, and he can talk about the work that he's doing right now on the updating the actual notebook front end code, moving it to TypeScript and Phosphor and all that.
Hi, everybody. Steve Sylvester. Chris hired me on at Continuum Analytics a couple weeks ago. I'm getting spun up on TypeScript, and basically there's a new Phosphor notebook repo under Jupyter that Jason Grout started, and I've got an open PR that adds the kernel spec on top of that, the kernel.js, which is now kernel.ts. So it's now a TypeScript file. Instead of the event callback registry, we're using Phosphor signals. We've cleaned up the callback handling using something we're calling the kernel futures object that sort of cleans up how all the callbacks from the messages are handled. So that's a work in progress right now. There's an open pull request if anyone wants to look at that. And so the goal is to rebase on Phosphor, clean up all the interfaces and decouple things that are coupled and try to modernize everything. And I will be at SciPy next week for that meeting.
And also, Steve, can you comment on the work you've done on the term.js component for Phosphor?
Right. So as my initial learning example, I took Terminato and term.js and made it a Phosphor widget. So there's an example under the Phosphor.js repository. There's a Phosphor term widget repo with an example of a Phosphor terminal widget. And also there's I took the sidecar concept, and there's now an in-browser sidecar. So you have the Terminato window, and below it the sidecar where it renders the rich output underneath it. So that's all within a Phosphor application as just a proof of concept. TypeScript is great.
I guess I might give a 15-second for people that might not know what Phosphor is, actually what Phosphor is. And it's a TypeScript widget library that I've written to handle the layout issues that you can't otherwise handle with just regular CSS. So things like split panels where you can do multiple splits in parallel, docking areas where you might want to tear a tab off and move it around and dock it into another part of the application. having, basically it provides all the widgets that you need for doing high-level scaffolding layout of your application. It's not necessarily concerned with rendering the raw leaf content like forms and buttons and that kind of stuff, because there are plenty of good tools to do that. So it really sits, it sits and underpins the low-level kinds of things for the types of applications we're actually trying to build, like large desktop-style app stuff on the web.
Great, thanks.
I think that leaves Cal Poly students.
Yeah, Cal Poly students, you want to?
Before we go there, Chris, before we switch away from phosphor, can I run a line by you? If somebody asks me what phosphor is, and I want to give them the 20-second short version, and I describe it as a tiling window manager in a browser tab, is that a complete butchering of the truth, or for a 20-second kind of elevator, one-floor elevator stop version, is that an okay thing to say?
I would say it's a little bit disingenuous, because that's just one particular widget in Phosphor. Like a tiling window manager is basically the dock area, but there's more to it than that. So that's the dock area is a good example of an end result of the kinds of things that you can do with Phosphor. But I think just saying that would kind of give the wrong impression that it like you only would reach for it if you want a tiling window manager. But in reality, it's hard. We should think about what the 20-second explanation of Phosphor is, and kind of unify on that message. Because I agree, like people see it and they're like, oh, I want it because I can do this tiling window thing, but we're already using it for much more than just that. So that would be good for us to talk about and figure out what that needs to be.
Yes, yeah, we don't need to do that right now then, but if that's if that is not a fair 20-second pitch, then it might be useful to try to think what would be a good one. Not to do it right now, but it's worth kind of thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely agree.
To interrupt just before we switched away from phosphor, so let's continue with I think we were going to move on to the Cal Poly students. So I don't know who wants to go next. I'm trying to finish Steve's notes.
I'll go next. I'm Auberon, joined on last week. I've been working on integration with Spark. To that end, I was working on the Find Spark project that Min had started, and I've got OpenPR there that just goes and allows you to persist some of those changes that Find Spark does, either by editing the RC files or by creating a new IPython profile. So that just makes it easier to work with some of the uglier configuration of PySpark. I'm also working on creating magic that allows you to work with Spark SQL easily. So it allows you to run just the Spark SQL through whatever Spark's SQL context that has that automatically finds, and just runs that against your cluster, and allows you to kind of import and export different JSON and Parquet files.
Great, thanks.
Where are you doing this work? On which repo?
I'm sorry, what's that?
On which repo are you doing this work? Do you have links?
So we can add a link to it. So the notes.
Okay, yeah. Right now it's just in a repository that I created under my account. It's not under the overall Jupyter IPython repository. So I can add a link to that.
Link to it on the notes. Just since we're gonna try to post these notes, we're gonna make very lightweight and very raw report. Like this is gonna be very unedited. I'm just gonna copy paste the hack pad like within an hour or so, just like dump it on the mailing list pretty much as is. So if you can just add a link under your name, like this is where it is, that way people can have a look at it.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to do early pull requests or ask for feedback. We don't want you to work 2 weeks on like the wrong way to do stuff. So don't hesitate to ask feedback really quickly or make pull requests or whatever.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so if you guys don't know me, my name's Cameron. I'm another Cal Poly student working here. I'm the designer here. I kind of stick out, but this past week I was working on a unified for both IPython and for Jupyter. So when you go between the two, it's kind of similar, except for the color schemes. I was working with John this week also on the unified technical diagram, and I also posted that on the GitHub issue. This next week, I'm going to take all my mockups, including the mobile designs and the web designs, and I'm going to try to actually start writing them in HTML and CSS. I already started doing that with Bootstrap, and so I should have the landing pages for both the Jupyter site and IPython site at least have the front page done in HTML. And I also worked with Brian on the stickers and the t-shirts and stuff, so that should be coming out. And lastly, probably I'll be sending out on the email list for the content that we want for the Jupyter site, what we want to be highlighting on the front of both the IPython and Jupyter site, so we can figure that out. And so I can start designing it accordingly for all the tabs. And that's pretty much it.
And Cameron, can you paste a link to the hackpad you've created for the outline of the content that will be on the two websites into the meeting hackpad?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Great.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Simon. I've been mostly working on basically, I guess what's going to eventually be a Jupyter notebook widget. That's a spreadsheet using Phosphor. So I guess the ultimate goal is to make it so that you can basically just paste data into the spreadsheet and have it graph it for you or do whatever with the data. So I guess I was in the middle of emailing Chris when we had this meeting, so I guess probably finish shooting off that email after the meeting.
Could you summarize for us? What features you've implemented in the spreadsheet so far?
So far I have like selecting. I have copy pasting working for most browsers, I want to say, because it doesn't work on Internet Explorer because I don't know, Internet Explorer isn't exactly great.
Nothing we do works on Internet Explorer. Don't worry.
Which version of IE are you testing on?
I'm not exactly sure. Maybe I should try IE10, but
Phosphor only supports IE11 and up.
Okay, well,
just FYI. So
okay, well, that might be it. But yeah, so I have copy pasting. I've been working on I also implemented sorting, so you can sort by column. So other than that, I'm just still keep refactoring the model to make sure it works better. I'm still not sure what our eventual model is going to be, because right now I guess I'm using jQuery and stuff, which isn't the greatest for this, but it works. So
great. Thanks for the update.
And that's it from us Cal Poly students.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Simon. Simon, can you remind me your last name? Sorry.
My name's
your last name.
Oh yeah, Simon Vurens.
How do you spell?
VUREN.
I typed it in the chat too. So.
Yeah. And Ryan also joined.
Yeah, I'm here as well. I made it in.
Hi, Ryan.
So my name's Ryan. I'm also one of the Cal Poly students. I just happen to be home right now. But I'm working on matplotlib stuff, essentially implementing configurables into matplotlib. So at the moment where I am is essentially identifying all of the places where configurables would be applicable, and then sort of extrapolating where there's an echo that's really distracting. Figuring out where all of those objects are being referenced and fixing those references. And yeah, so hopefully it will all be sort of dynamically done, but I'm not entirely sure how to go about dynamically editing the Python files, mainly due to the fact that there's overloading with the types that are being inputted into getter and setter functions in matplotlib. If that weren't the case, it probably wouldn't be that hard, but it is. So yeah, that's where I am.
Can you also post a link of where you are doing your work?
At the moment, there's not all that much to show. I mean, I can post some of the stuff. I did a little bit of hacking of PyLint so that you could get references to particular functions that no longer exist. And I have looking through the AST library to figure out how to identify classes that might be could have configurables in them. Yeah, I can post something, but there's not much yet. It's still sort of rudimentary.
Is that everyone?
Yeah, everybody from Cal Poly.
Do we have anyone else who wants to pitch in? Otherwise, I think we've actually done pretty good time-wise. Does anyone have any other comments? I personally have to say that I found this meeting extraordinarily useful in the sense that I have all of a sudden learned a lot about the project. I mean this. I have learned a lot about what people are actually doing, and I have been very well informed. And I suspect even these rough notes will be useful and this may be a meeting that people may actually want to watch and get a summary of what people are up to. And so I do think this was useful.
So, question: do everybody have the link to the Hack Lab?
A phone from New York just joined the meeting. I wonder if it might be Jason himself.
This is Jason. I just got on.
Hello, Jason. Welcome to the meeting.
Hi.
We're just about done. So if you want to,
we were wrapping up, but we would be delighted to hear from you. Are you with Sylvan, or is it just you?
I'm calling on the phone, sitting next to Sylvan, but Sylvan's not on the audio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were basically wrapping up, and actually we were just saying that the meeting was extremely useful to the point where somebody might actually even be interested in watching the video. We did record it, and so we'll post it. We'll try to see if we can post this thing on YouTube. It doesn't stream live, but we think we can post the video right after. We're going to post the notes shortly, and we'll figure out how to post this video thingy as soon as we can. And it was very quick. It was a series of reports, and we actually all learned quite a bit about what we're all up to. And we just realized that the project is doing a lot of interesting stuff.
Good.
And so if you would like to give your own very short, very brief report, you get to have the last word of the meeting before we convene.
My guess is Chris may have talked about it already, but we've been working on the Phosphor Notebook with Stephen and Chris, and our plans are to keep working on that and to keep working on the widgets. Sylvan's been working on widgets. That's our plan for the next week, and get ready for SciPy.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, just one closing comment. With the change in the meeting format, obviously we won't be using the weekly meeting here for decision making. And for now, I would just encourage people, if there are decisions that sort of need to propagate up from the repo level to the whole project level, please just post that to the mailing list, and we'll use that as a trigger to organize whatever needs to happen to make that decision.
I think we should always allow for kind of either at the beginning or at the end for 5 or 10 minutes for kind of announcements and various random things kind of logistical things like sci-fi is coming up or various random things that happen. Are there any other announcements? Yes, sci-fi is coming out.
Yeah, I would like to propose that the new people on the team actually write a blog post to introduce themselves and we can post them.
Yeah. If they have the time, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk to the poly students about that.
Good idea.
I'm also thinking of Jason and Sylvain that are not yet officially in the team.
There's a crackling noise of consent.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We are 7.
Okay. Anything else? Are you commit under time?
All right. Nothing better than a meeting that ends a little bit short. That's wonderful.
Yeah, especially with twice as many people as usual. Well
exactly. A crowded meeting that ends short. Thanks everyone. I'm gonna give probably. Let's see. Are we missing any important links?
Yeah. If everyone can look at the notes on your own stuff and add relevant links and stuff, if you can think of stuff to link to in your little block.
Yeah. Let's give a window of maybe a couple of hours, but I don't want to, because if I let this drag on for days, I'm going to forget about it. So in a couple of hours, I'm going to post the hack pad. I'm just going to copy and paste to the mailing list. So I don't want to let it drag for too long. So if you can have a quick look at the hack pad before you forget, add any links to your stuff. I'm just going to copy edit very simply and then post it quickly. Thank you.
Could someone post a link to that in the chat real quick?
Oh yeah, we can do that right away. Min, can you post it just on the chat room on this chat right?
It's just IPython.hackpad.com and you will get it.
Yeah, but let's just paste it right here so that it's here.
Is that it?